Welcome, welcome. Today is Friday, and we are here going to give you another video. Today, we are going to give you some tips on what you can do to reduce expenses in your business. And if you've been following and watching our videos, you've probably seen a couple of other videos like this. And we still get a lot of questions around it. So we're going to drill in just a little bit more today, and let's get started. So here are four different ways that that you can actually create a system of keeping your expenses low and watching that overhead from creeping up. And so one of the things that I used to do in when I was working as an accountant for a real estate company is that this is going to sound really simple, but I actually had on my schedule a uh, a review to look at the financials every week. And yeah, it's that simple. And what that allowed me to do is it forced me to question everything that was on there and really, really know where my money was going, right? Or where the business's money was going. And so that's the first thing that I would do. If you're not already having this meeting, schedule that meeting in your business. Go through your financials every week and ask that question. Hey, what's in this line item? What's in this line item? And it won't take very long. You'll start to get a sense for everything that's going out of the business and identify any surprises. This is one of the reasons, if you saw our video on creating a budget, it's one of the reasons that having a budget is so important, because once you get a sense on what you're spending every single month or every single week, you start to recognize things, and the things that are not normal, right? The things that are maybe one-offs or surprises, they really start to stand out. And so setting a budget is helpful to do that, but then also reviewing that every week can also be really helpful as well. Okay, so the second thing that you can do is take a look at some of the items and just ask yourself, right, are there competitive alternatives to the service that we're currently paying for? And it doesn't necessarily mean that you've got to go out and fire everybody that you're currently using. But knowing what the competitive alternatives are may create different options for you. For example, if there is another vendor out there who offers a service that is maybe more specific to what you need, you may be able to negotiate that at a lower price, right? And we saw this when we had sort of like the bundled services suppliers, where you pay a higher amount, but you get all these things. Well, if you're not using all of the things, there may be a vendor you can find who gives you just the thing that you would actually use. Um, and so you don't necessarily lose out on the value, right? But you can lower your costs that way. So that's something that I would do, is take a look at all the things that you're spending your money on and identify, okay, what are the competitive alternatives for this? Should this be something that we can negotiate, maybe with a different vendor or even with the same vendor, and say, hey, I found this supplier over here who's willing to you know, give me this specific service, whereas with you guys, I got to pay the full amount for all these services I'm not using. You can even negotiate sometimes those things. So that's the second thing I would do, right? Go through, look at the vendors, and see where you can negotiate maybe a better price. The third thing that you can do in your business to reduce costs is, as you're looking at the things that you're spending money on in the business, ask yourself, how much of these things are we using, right? If we're paying for maybe this software over here or this tool over here, how frequently are we really engaging with that tool, right? Believe it or not, I mean, sometimes we'll see businesses where they've purchased or subscribed to a service and they have every intention of using it. And it's even a good service, right? It doesn't even mean that it's not valuable. But because of time constraints in the business, nobody's ever really gotten around to really implementing it. And so sometimes we see things in a business like that, and they've been that way for months. And so if you find yourself in that situation, ask yourself, okay, how long are we really willing to pay for this thing and not use it? if it's really so good, can we afford not to start using it? And if the answer to that is yes, we can't afford to not start using it, you might as well just save on the cost now and then get back to it when you really do have time to start implementing it. So that's another thing when you're looking at your expenses, see what are you just not using? What did you have every intention of using and you just never got around to it? That probably it's time to retire from your expenses. All right. Now, the fourth thing you can do when you're looking to reduce your overhead, and we see this a lot in real estate, is who are some of your vendors or people who are in the similar industry that you are that would potentially have the same customers that you have, right? And we see this with real estate agents specifically is um, who are some people that you could maybe share expenses with and add to the cost of things, right? So, for example, if you're a real estate agent, we see people partnering with flooring companies, with roofing companies because ultimately the people who buy a house might be the same customers who want to replace their roof. And so you can partner with some of those vendors uh, and even share some of the cost of things like advertising, right? So look at your expenses and ask yourself, is there somebody else who's also paying for this thing? And maybe we could create a type of relationship where we're sharing in the cost, but we're making the same impact. So there you have it, 4 tips to reduce your expenses in your business. If you liked these tips, or if you have more ideas that I didn't even mention today, we'd love to hear about it. Make sure you comment on the video, like it if you enjoyed what you heard today, and be sure to check out myvirtualbookkeeper.com if you've got more questions or need help with any of your accounting needs. And with that, we will catch you all on the next one.